But let's begin. Let's come onto your back. And as you lay back, go ahead and just place your feet on the floor with your knees bent. Let them rest wherever they have arrived. And then open up your arms into a cactus shape. And as you let the arms drift away from one another, take a big full breath across the top of your chest. And then as you exhale, just feel the weight of your sternum, your chest drop into the earth. And then again, as you inhale, breathe and open, expand right to left. Your collarbones, reach out through your elbows. And then keep that widening. And as you exhale, just feel the drop of the chest. And then this time, as you breathe in, see if you can't spread the shoulder blades apart on the back body so that there's space as you exhale to drop your chest, your shoulders, ribs, everything down. And then just observing right to left without making any adjustments, without judging or changing. Just notice the connection to your shoulder blades on the mat, right to left. Notice and observe the weight of your upper arms on the mat, right to left. And notice if there's more weight in one elbow than the other. And again, without making any changes, I just want you to observe and take note. And then carry that all the way up to your forearms and more specifically your wrists. Feel the weight of your wrists and then your hands. Does one hand rest more onto the pinky side or more onto the thumb side? Does one hand not even get down to the floor? And then wherever you are, gentle smile across your mouth. And then inhale, reach your arms straight up towards the sky. Let's interlace the fingers, flip your palms, reach those straight arms all the way up and overhead. And as you press into your 2 feet, yawn. Take your arms over to one side and just yawn out the side body. And as you do that, check in with where the weight is in your 2 feet and notice how you have to ground into both a little bit more. And then come back to center and yawn over to the other side. So just reaching your arms away from the grounding action of your 2 feet. Drive evenly into the inner feet. Feel the release of your inner thighs. And then come back to center. And then go ahead and reach your arms by your side. You can cactus your arms or you can hold onto the edges of your mat. And then take a moment, press your ribs down into the floor, and then lift your hips just an inch off the mat. So it feels like you're curling your tailbone towards the backs of the knees, flattening your lumbar spine. And then again, try to keep your chest heavy so we're not in bridge pose. And then press into your left foot and slide your right leg straight forward to the front of the room. And just kind of notice how things tip around. I almost made a bad crisscross reference joke. Like tip, tip, dip, up and get down, or is that House of Pain? Anyway, happy Saturday. Ground into your left foot, your big toe, inner heel. Notice that the left knee is rolling off to the side. So I really want you to hug left knee in. And can you observe right to left with your ribs and your hips? So oftentimes, one hip will be a lot higher than the other. And then reach your right leg straight up towards the sky. Keep hugging your left leg into the midline. And then reach to the heel of your right foot. So you're trying to touch the ceiling, flex the foot fully. And then reach up so high with the right leg that your hips lift a little bit higher. And then slowly lower your hips so they're just like a millimeter off the floor. And then again, press into your left foot. Inhale, right foot touches up, lift the hips. And then slow lower. And then again, exhale, press to lift. Try to lift the hips high, following the right leg. We'll do 2 more. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press up. Beautiful work. And inhale, lower. Last one, you guys. Exhale, press up. I want you to try to keep your hips this high. Recommit to hugging knee in. And then straighten your right leg forward to the front of the room. Let it hover. Can you release the inner right thigh down a little bit more and suck the right leg into the hip socket? Beautiful. And then bend your right leg, place it back down to meet your left leg. You can lower the hips, give yourself a little waggle and say, really, this is what she's doing Saturday morning? And then when you're ready, press into your 2 feet, lift your hips just an inch off the floor. And again, recommit to your ribs heavy. So it feels like your hip points are scooping up towards your belly button. I want you to keep that work and then slide your left leg straight forward in space. And oftentimes the right knee is going to veer off to the right. Maybe, Janine, walk your right foot to the right a little bit more and then hug your right knee in. That's it. Beautiful, you guys. And then inhale, lift your left leg straight up towards the sky. And then just observe here. Notice how it changes, what you need to pay attention to. Recommit to driving into your right foot. And then try to reach through the heel of your left leg. Stamp the ceiling more with the heel than the toes. Inhale, lift a little higher. And then slow exhale, like your hips are going to lower, but they're not. Then use your right foot, inner heel, lift the left leg, touch the ceiling. Exhale, slow, lower. 3 more, inhaling, press down into the right foot, hug right leg in. Slow, let it drop. 2 more, inhale, kick up, reach to the heel, reach to the back of the leg. And tap, and then last time, inhale, we lift. Pause here, you guys. Recommit to your right leg hugging in. Straighten your left leg forward in space. Try to touch the wall with the inner heel while still sucking the leg into the hip socket. That's awesome. And then bend your left leg to meet your right. Hug both knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock and roll side to side. And then rock yourself up. Come onto your hands and knees. I'd love us to come straight into Sphinx pose. And as you come into Sphinx pose, your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. For today, keep your elbows where they are and then take your hands as wide as your mat. So it's more of like a W shape with your hands. Press down into your hands and try to drag your shoulders back towards your feet. And then push down into the hands and try to lift the collarbones a little higher towards the sky. Reach your right leg so far back it lifts up off the mat. Roll your inner thigh a little higher than your outer thigh. Notice if your hips tipped. So try to keep your pelvis rooted. And then bend your right leg. Reach the right heel towards the sky. And as you press into your left foot, can you kick the ceiling with your right heel and lift the right knee up off the floor? And as you do that with your right leg, feel the weight even right to left on your hips. Scoop the lowest part of your navel up and try to extend that right knee back and lift it up. And then straighten your right leg and exhale, place it down. Left leg, it reaches back. Notice it comes from your inner thigh, inner knee, all the way to the big toe. Give a little bit more rotation of inner thigh to the ceiling so you can bend your knee, reach the heel towards the sky. And notice if you kind of tipped your hips towards the right, so anchor into that left hip. Reach that left inner knee away from you to start to lift it up off the floor. Kick the ceiling with the left leg, lift a little bit higher. Nice, Tom. Beautiful. Now keep your left knee that high off the floor. Straighten your left leg. And then lower the left leg down. Lower all the way down to the floor. Walk your hands in for baby cobra. Reach the chest forward. Feel your feet press as you inhale to lengthen. I want you to keep your shoulders this high as you exhale, lower down. Let's just do 2 more. Inhaling, hands press, feet press. Reach the legs back. And exhale, lower. And then last one, you guys will hold it here. Inhale, press down to rise. Press into the feet so much so that you feel your kneecaps lift. And then try to slide your toes back to touch the back of the mat. Use the press of your hands to pull your collarbones forward to the front of your mat. So you're just getting longer. And then try hovering your hands an inch off the mat. What happens if you slide your hands back so your wrists are under your elbows? And since we're all about music today, although I'm not playing any, imagine that you are kind of spinning records with your hands, and without moving in space, from your thumb side of your hand, can you rotate all the way to the pinky? Notice how that connects to your shoulders. Beautiful. Get a little bit more length and lower all the way down. I'm thinking of becoming a DJ. Curl your toes under, legs are straight, press to your plank pose, and downward facing dog pose. Rise high up onto the balls of the feet, you guys. Swivel your heels over to one side, the toes to the other, and just yawn out your side body. And then inhale, come back up, and let's go over to the other side. And as you go over to one side, send your hips up and back. Try to touch the ceiling. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Beautiful, you guys. Take your feet as wide as the mat. Walk your hands all the way back to meet your feet. Grab a hold of your elbows, a really nice bend into your knees as you fold over your legs. And then switch the cross of the arms. Let the weight of your elbows pull more towards your toe tips than towards your shins. And then let your brain get heavy. Soften the jaw. Release the hands to the earth. Inhale, come up halfway. Heel toe your feet so they're more classically hip distance apart. Walk yourself all the way forward to your downward facing dog. As you inhale, extend your right leg up towards the sky. Let's open up your hips, bend your knee. And as you go for that stretch to the right body, I want you to think more about what's happening on the left. So lift up to the left forearm, lift up to the left side of your ribs, and then pull your left hip back. And then square everything off to center, straighten your right leg. Let's lower the right foot so it hovers just beside your left foot. You're still in downward dog. Slide yourself forward into your three-legged plank pose. And so your lifted leg, the right one, reach through the heel. And let's actually point the toes of the right foot. Like you could slide your right leg on a table and reach towards the edge of the table and grab something. Against that, lift your right waist up higher by hugging left leg in. Good. Take a full breath in. Keep your right toes pointed as you exhale. Bring your right knee in to touch your nose. And then lift your knee up, lift your chest up. Janine, lower your hips and lift your chest. Yes. And then everybody step your right foot forward between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And then keep reaching the arms so high up towards the sky. I want you to grab a hold of your hands and then just bend your elbows so that the fingertips start to reach back towards the back of the room. But as you pause here, rather than your hands dropping, can you lift the shoulder blades, the outer borders of the shoulder blades lift up to the elbows? So let the elbows lift a little taller and let that start to carry and lift your rib cage up a little higher. And then as you do that, notice if you can still lift the hip points up and lift through the back ribs. And then let your hands just rest behind the nape of your neck. Lean the head into your hands and start to spread the shoulders a little wider and lift your chest a little higher. So feel a sense of back bending, a little bit of Sphinx pose right here. And then lift through the inner elbows a little bit more. Give yourself that kind of length. Straighten your arms right up towards the sky as you inhale. And then release hands down to the floor. Straighten your front leg as you exhale. And then pull your chest forward. So as you come onto your fingertips or use blocks or your hands are flat, can you use the power of your straight arms to open the collarbones forward? Let the front body get just as long as the stretch through the back body. And then let's just move on the breath. As we inhale, we'll bend the front knee, reach the arms up. Let the lift of the arms come from the hips, the back ribs. Hands to the floor. Exhale, pull hips back. Let's just do that 2 more times. Inhale, we shift forward. As we shift forward, pull the right thigh in. And exhale, hands down. Keep the chest open, hips pull back. And last time, inhaling, shift to breathe in. Exhale, hands down, pull hips back. Good, beautiful, you guys. Bend your front leg. Take a full breath here as you lift your back knee up off the mat. Can you get your arms straight and your hands flat? And then work to lift your left waist a lot higher. And then step to plank pose. Shift forward, lower chaturanga. Baby cobra or the up dog. Use your feet just as much as the hands to lift the back ribs. Let's all come to plank pose as we inhale. And downward facing dog as we exhale. Lift your left leg up as you inhale. Open up your hips, bend your knee, still yawning out. the end of week 3. And as you open and turn to the left, can you still support through the right arm, the right ribs? Square it off to center. Slowly, as you straighten your left leg, let it hover right beside your right. Feel that connection deep into the inner thighs, the pelvic floor. Shift forward into your 3-legged plank pose. And notice it's not about your left leg going to the sky, but that your left leg is moving out of the hips. And then let's point the left toes. Maybe you could reach further back. As you hug your right leg in, lift more through the left side of the waist. Beautiful. And then keep your toes pointed as you bring your left knee in to touch the nose, round your spine. Try to point your toes a little bit more. And then step the foot forward. We'll lower the back knee. Use the inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. A couple breaths right here. The shoulders will spread. And then just bring the palms to touch. But keep lifting up through the hip points, through the outer borders of the shoulder blades. And then bend your elbows so the hands reach back behind you. And it's as if you were gluing your forearms to the ceiling. Could you create a little bit more lift? And notice the traction you get through the spine. And then keep the inner elbows lifting. Just drop your hands to the nape of your neck. And then start to lean the head back into the hands. And as the head leans back, can you feel that it actually is because the thoracic spine or your rib cage is lifting? And then lift through the inner elbows as well. And then bring yourself upright, straighten your arms all the way towards the sky. And then release, hands down. You'll pull your hips back to straighten your front leg, exhaling. Try flexing through that foot. Try pulling that pinky toe a little bit further back than the big toe. And coil, Tom, the chest forward. Yes, beautiful, you guys. I said Tom and everyone else likens the chest forward. That was great. Sarah, hug your right hip in. Yeah. And then let's move on the breath, you guys. As we inhale, bending the front leg, reach the arms up. Hands to the mat, pull the front leg back. Good, and just 2 more. Inhale, shifting forward. Notice when you shift forward how the front thigh still plugs back. And exhale, hands down, straighten the front leg. And then just last time, inhale, open. And exhale, fold. Beautiful. Stay low as you rebend your front leg on the inhalation. Lift your back knee up off the mat. So can you work your right waist, your right leg so strong and active like plank that with your hands flat, it's the quietest step back. And then you shift forward and lower chaturanga. Inhale into the back bend. Feet press just as much as the hands. Then come back to your plank pose as you inhale. And downward facing dog, exhale. Best part about home yoga is when the pets join you. Beautiful, you guys. Shift forward into your plank. And then take your feet as wide as your mat. And then walk your hands just like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 palms distance forward. So you're in this like Superman type plank. Reach through your heels and then try to drag your hands towards your feet. Plug the arms into the shoulder sockets and start to wake up your side ribs. As the legs reach back, feel that the press of the feet lifts the thighs, but then your hip points are lifting. So there's a sense of hips dropping and thighs lifting. So they meet each other. And then walk your hands back so your wrists are under your shoulders. Keep your legs wide. Come onto your right fingertips. Feel the weight even in your 2 feet. Walk your right hand forward. Feel the weight even in your 2 feet. And then maybe you start to extend your right arm forward. Let the shoulder drop. Can you still plug left arm into the socket? Release your right hand down to the floor. Come onto your left fingertips. Beautiful work. Try to stabilize the pelvis, left hip down. Then walk your left fingertips forward. Observe how this side feels. And then maybe from the pinky side of that left arm, you just extend it up off the floor. Can you allow the back of the neck to soften? Let that left shoulder drop. Place your left hand down, wide-legged downward facing dog. Exhale. Beautiful, you guys. And then walk your feet so they're more classically hip distance apart. The right leg lifts as you inhale. As you exhale, step the right foot forward between your hands. We'll stay here as you spin your back heel down to the mat. So front leg is bent. We're setting up for warrior one, but I want you to reach your right arm forward in space. So with your left fingertips on the floor, can you connect from your left heel all the way through your right fingertips? Feel that line of energy. Pull them apart from one another. And then stay this low so your chest is resting on your front leg. Can you bring your left arm to meet your right? As if you had a block between your hands, feel the forearms firm in so that your shoulders can spread. And now press into your front foot, pull your front thigh back. Inhale, rise it up to your warrior one. Exhale at the top. Good, we'll be here for a couple breaths. The more that we sit down into the front leg and pull the thigh bone back, work your back leg here. Work your back heel into the floor. Firm and lift your back knee, and then carry from your left hip all the way up to the right pinky finger. Find that same line. And then as those arms reach a little higher, maybe the palms touch again. Start to lift more through the inner elbows as you bend the arms, fingers back behind you. And then find the nape of your neck. Let your fingers drop down, and then lean your head into your hands to lift your chest up. Notice I'm not interested in how far back you go, but how much more length and space you can get. Sit a little lower into the front leg, draw the low belly in, and lift higher. Let the back ribs lift up to the fingertips. Bend your front leg 1 more inch and try to pull your front heel back in space. And now straighten your arms, reach the chest up. Maybe the palms stay touching. And exhale, release. Hands to the mat, stay here. Spin onto the toes of your back foot. Let's take it into the twist, you guys. Right arm towards the sky. Drive that bottom shoulder blade onto the back body. And there's this sweet connection between your right shin and your left forearm. And as if you could magnetically draw those two foundational pieces together, can you drive the shoulder onto the back body and then open up the top arm towards the sky? 1 more breath. Release your right hand down to the floor, step to your plank pose. However you want to get to dog as your exhale. Inhale, left leg lifts. As you exhale, step the foot forward between your hands. We'll spin the back heel down to the mat. Stay low on your fingertips. So we're setting up for warrior one. Notice that left knee, hug it in. And then try to pull left hip back so you have the right leg great anchored. And then from that right foot, extend your left arm forward in space. So as we can allow the back of the neck to soften, that left shoulder blade to drop, there's a sense of hugging that outer left arm in. There's a sense of hugging the left shin in. So contain outer body so it makes sense and easy for you to just reach your right arm forward to meet your left. Back of the neck is soft. The chest is filling and breathing into the back of your ribs. And then inhale, come all the way up to warrior one. Exhale at the top. Beautiful, you guys. Go ahead and lift the collarbone so your palms can touch. And then keep reaching up through those elbows as you bend your arms. Fingers reach back to the wall behind you. Continue to drive the lowest part of your navel up. And then start to lift the back ribs up to meet the fingertips. Get long through the back body. As the hands start to drop, you'll lean your head back. It's not just opening up the front, but can you literally lift front and back like a cylinder sliding, like a slinky. Like a slinky. Front and back, just lifting up. And now straighten those arms, reach those arms up. And exhale, release, hands down to the mat like a slinky. Spin onto the toes, let's take the twist, left arm to the sky. Your spine is like a slinky. Connect the left shin into the right arm so there's a sense of magnetic stability. Drive that right shoulder onto the back body and then coil. like a slinky. I'll drop it. I won't continue it for the rest of class. But then just roll everything up to touch the top fingertips. Lean into the power of your back body. And then release, left hand down to the floor, step to your plank. Let's all take the vinyasa as we exhale, shift forward, shoulders reach back, elbows reach back. Inhale, open. And exhale to fold. Full breath in, you guys. And a long exhale. Rise high up onto the balls of the feet. As you bend your knees, look forward, step or hop to the top. We open. And then we fold. Bending your knees deep into your chair, Utkatasana. And then as you exhale, just cactus your arms. Feel the weight in the front of your heels, but then pull your hips back against that. Try to sit further back with your legs, and then right behind your knees, can you create a sense of space behind the knee joints? So there's a little bit of buoyancy. And you'll feel this sense of rebounding. The legs are saying, can we stand up? And your hips are saying, no, we want to sit lower. And then as you hug, Christy, your outer thighs in, can you continue to lift the frontal hip points up? And then carry that breath all the way into the collarbones. Good, and lift your chest a little higher. And then you guys stay in this cactus shape. As if you could high five me, feel your hands pressing into the wall that you're facing. And then there's a sense of your elbows wanting to roll forward. You know, your biceps will lift towards the ceiling. And as you do that, can you feel the shoulder blades at attention on the back body? Sit one more inch a little bit lower, Sophia, and then lift your chest a little bit higher. Beautiful. Now turn the palms to face each other and carry those arms all the way up towards the sky as you sit your thighs back and fold. Uttanasana. Inhale is the Ardha, open spine. Hands flat as you fully step or jump, Chaturanga. Into the back bend as we inhale, shoulder heads back. And downward facing dog as we exhale. Step the right foot forward, warrior one is the inhalation. Hands to the mat. Keep the chest open as you step to plank. Exhale, we lower, just one Surya B together. Inhale, shoulder heads back, slow the breath. And exhale, without the leg lift. Step the left foot forward, back heel spins, and from that back leg, carry the breath all the way up to the fingertips, ride the inhalation. And exhale, chest open, full exhale all the way to Chaturanga. Then we inhale to open, lift up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Beautiful, you guys. Take a full breath in. As you rise high up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, step or hop to the top of the mat. Open as we inhale. Fold as we exhale. Bending your knees deep into your chair. Find it here. Pull the outer thighs in, release the inner thighs down. Keep hinging back and then press all the way up to stand and bring it into your heart. Exhale. So we're just going to come into, bend your right leg and you'll grab a hold of your right knee with your right hand and then reach your left arm up towards the sky. So as you hold onto your right hand with, if you hold onto your right knee with your right hand, it's like there's this suction action lifting the knee up, but then can you feel there's a thread dropping the right sit bone down? And then your standing leg, hug your standing leg in more so there's more weight into your inner heel. Lift up through the left pinky finger, and then exhale, let's take it into the twist. So left hand to your right knee, right arm back behind you. It's not so much about the twist as I want you to focus on the slinky of the spine. Drive into your inner heel of your left foot. Make a hole in that left leg. Ask yourself if you're bent, if you've locked your left knee to straight. Can you work the back of your left leg, your back hamstring, like you're sticking your butt out a little bit? And then lift your left hip up and roll all the way to the right fingertips. Take another full breath in. And then slowly reach your right arm forward to meet your left arm. Everybody straighten your right leg forward in space. Slowly lower your right foot, let it hover. Stand into your left heel more. Let's cactus the arms as we bend our left leg and come into warrior three. And so with a bent leg, warrior three, I want you to really drive more weight into your standing heel. And then let's point the toes of the right foot. Hinge your left hip way back so you could try to slide your right toes back. And then everybody release your hands to the floor without collapsing. I want you to stay upright. So you're just in a modified warrior three. Can you keep your right hand there and extend your left arm forward in space? And as the right hand pushes down into the floor or a block, rebound the right waist up. Yes, rebound the root of the right thigh up. And then bend your standing leg even more as you hug your left hip in. Reach your right arm forward to meet your left arm. Slowly, as you hinge back, you're going to pull yourself back upright. Release your right leg to meet your left, arms by your side. Beautiful. Second side, bend your left knee. And then when you're ready, you'll reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. And so there's that diagonal chain, right, that we're playing with today. As you extend through the pinky side of the right hand, there's the drop of the left hip and the anchoring of the inner right heel. Inhale a little taller, and then exhale into the twist. So rather than just making it a shape, put energy from the foundation, hug the shins, feel the lift through the inner thighs, coil and lengthen the right waist up to the sky. And as you do that, shoulders soft. Even if it feels like there's a little bend into that left arm so you can find the shoulder blade opening up the chest, that was nice. And then slowly unravel. Bring your left arm forward to meet your right. Inhale, arms up. Straighten your left leg any amount. And then slowly lower your left leg, let it hover. Cactus your arms. And then bend your right knee as you hinge back into warrior three. Lifted leg super straight. In fact, let's point the toes of the lifted foot. It's like you could push your left foot down into a table, slide it back, and lift your left ribs higher. I want you to stay in this bent leg warrior three as you release your hands down to the floor. Use the hands to the floor to rebound the pelvis and the side waist up. Extend your right arm forward in space. Nice, Andrew. And then connect pinky finger right hand, right hip, all the way to the left toes. And then see if you can't lift left ribs and extend your left arm to meet your right. Be more interested in your standing leg hinging back to your left leg. And now hinge back a little bit more and then press yourself all the way up. Release your arms by your side. Inhale, bending your knees, Utkatasana. Hands to your heart, take a moment to pause, and then let's twist. Left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. I'm going to invite you guys to keep your palms pressing together today, and then come onto fingertips with both hands. And then notice how more space allows you to create more length through your spine. As you drive into your inner heels of your feet, can you pull your hips back a little bit more? And then roll your left ribs all the way up to meet your right collarbone. Look down. And as you look down, rise up onto the toes of your left foot. Beautiful. Sit a little lower into your hips. Bring your left heel to your left sit bone. Stay here. It's like you're a flamingo. And then step way back to your twisting crescent pose. Sit a little lower into your front leg. Hug your front thigh in. And then work. As you inhale, press down into your left foot. Rebound the left waist. Roll the left ribs all the way up to the right fingertips. And then exhale, release. Hands down to the floor. Lower your back knee, take a moment here. And then we worked this the other day, maybe that was yesterday. Shift forward so you get a stretch in your left leg. And then against that, try to lift your left hip up to your navel. So it doesn't look like much, but hopefully it feels like something. And then keep your left hip lifting and bend your left leg. And as you bend your left leg, notice if you dropped your left hip. So keep the left hip resisting that bend. One more breath. And then go ahead and release your left foot down to the floor. Lift your back knee up off the mat. Take a moment here, and then with your right hand, grab a hold of your right ankle. Walk your left hand forward. And as you walk your left hand forward, can you lift up to the left waist? And then slowly just fold into standing splits. I don't know if just fold is actually the proper instruction. You can keep your left hand on the floor. You can bring your left hand to meet your right hand. Continue to work the lift of the left side of your waist. Point your left toes. And then everybody, 2 hands to the floor. Find the Ardha in the upper body. Rise up onto the toes of the right foot, and then try hopping into a handstand here. Just a couple hop ups. Shoulders right over the wrists. Ribs try to stack over the shoulders. Nice, Ashley. And then we'll release Uttanasana, fold in half. Bending your knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Bring your hands to your heart, second side twist, right elbow to the outside of your left. So we'll keep the palms pressing today, and then try to cup the fingertips. As you do that, just observe what you gain, what you lose. If you have any, I don't like this, or, oh, wow, I love this, I'm gonna do it every day. Can you sit lower into your legs, pull the heels back, pull the thighs back, and then try to find the lift from the lowest part of your navel. Let your right ribs lengthen forward. So it feels like your left ribs are hugging in to lengthen the right side of the waist. And then look down. As you sit a little lower into your left leg, rise up onto the toes of the right foot. As you sit lower into your left leg, hinge back, and then bring your right heel to your right sit bone. So hopefully you're feeling a lot of left glute, left hamstring. Yes, Whitney? And then step yourself way back to twisting crescent pose. Work the ankles like they could hug in. Work the shins like they could hug in. Beautiful, Margie. And then let the coiling revolve. Lean on to the power of that right shoulder blade. Kayleen, a little bit more. Last breath in, you guys. And then slowly unravel. Hands to the mat, lower your back knee. Feel free to straighten the front leg if you need to for a second. I'm not sure if you can hear, but my stomach is growling loudly. And then shift forward, if you haven't already. And as you shift forward, work to lift your right hip point up. And then keep the right hip lifting as you purely find hip extension with the work of the hamstring and glute versus dumping into your low back. So your right knee will bend, but then keep lifting the right hip up against that. Last couple breaths, can you open up the chest, pull the shoulders back. Whew. And then release. Lift your back knee up off the mat. With your left hand, grab a hold of your left ankle. Hug the shin in. Start to walk your right hand forward. Lift right waist up. And then shift forward into your standing splits. Continue to hug your left leg in as you continue to try to point the toes of your right foot. You guys play with bending your standing leg, but really straightening your lifted leg. And then 2 hands to the floor if they aren't already. Kayleen, hug the right leg in a little bit more. Yeah. And then shift forward, shoulders right over the wrist. Play with hopping into a handstand. So even as you hop, you guys, can you continue to hug? Danielle, firm arms in. And then we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. So maybe you take a vinyasa through. And then go ahead and come onto your forearms and walk it out for forearm plank. And I'm gonna invite you to actually interlace your fingers in forearm plank and stack your wrists. And then drop your knees so you're in a modified forearm plank. And with your knees to the floor, can you actively lift your hip points up? So I want you to try to round your spine like scared cat right here. Could you actually round more of your lumbar spine than press the shoulders away and round your upper chest? Keep pressing into your forearms, more specifically your wrist. And then as you hug your elbows together, try to slide your elbows back towards your feet. Coil the chest forward, Andrew, lengthen the front body. And then actively work to scoop the 2 hip points up to your belly button. Straighten your right leg. So I want you to keep your right foot on the floor, but to straighten your right knee. Work your right hip up a little higher. And then as you feel the entire right front body, right hamstring glute activate, maybe you keep that and you extend and straighten your right leg and point the toes to lift it up off the floor. The right waist will drop, so I want you to actively lift right hip up, right belly up, pull your chest forward. One more breath, and then lower your right leg back to meet your left leg. Again, find the modified variation so your knees are not under your hips. And then recommit to the hip points lifting, like they're wrapping up to the belly button as you straighten your left leg. Press down so much that you feel the rebound. Connect more into your left hip lifting than how high your left leg gets. And then reach the left toes back behind you. They will float up off the floor. And again, the higher you lift the leg, the more your low back's gonna say, I'll help. I want this to be purely about the strength of your legs lifting. Hip extension versus lumbar extension. And then lower your left leg, shift forward, lower into Sphinx pose. Walk your hands back, upward facing dog is your inhalation. And downward facing dog is your exhalation. Beautiful, you guys. Rise high up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, step or hop to the top. Open as we inhale, shift forward, Aurora. And exhale, fold. Rise high up onto the toes again. Rise up onto your fingertips and then rise up onto your toes and bend your knees and come into a little toe squat. So you'll bring your hands towards your knees to straighten your elbows. And then push your knees away from you. As you do that, do you feel how your heels lift up a little higher into your sit bones? And then scoop, again, the 2 hip points up towards your navel. Take your knees wide, and then just lower onto your forearms. The elbows may or may not touch. It's not about that. Squeeze your knees into your armpits. Lift your frontal hip points up here. And then either stay or walk your hands back for Bakasana. As you shift forward, the hips stay low, the heels lift high. Nice, Janine. Glue your feet together. Beautiful, you guys. Everybody lower your feet down, fold in half, Uttanasana, exhale. Heel toe your feet so they're hip distance apart. And then Pada Hastasana, just step on your hands, Pada foot, Hasta hand, and fold. And then drop your brain. And as you drop your brain, lift your shoulders. As you press your feet into your hands, can you lift your right heel up off the floor? And then try the other heel. Connect your ribs up to your navel and then try both heels. And if you fall, just tuck and roll and laugh. And if both heels are up, place both heels down to the floor. Keep your hands where they are. Inhale, Ardha in the upper chest. Feel Sphinx, not just with your chin, but your entire front spine. Same time, hands to hips. Bend your knees as you press into your heels, and inhale, come all the way up. Beautiful, you guys. We're gonna stand on our left leg and bend our right knee. Reach back and grab a hold of the right foot. Notice how your foot is pointed. Reach the toes up towards the sky. And then try to drop your right knee so it's in line with your left knee. Take your left hand and just slide it to your right hip point. Your other left hand. And then with your left hand at your left hip, at your right hip, lift your right hip up. And then against that, can you drop your inner left knee down? You might get a little bit more stretch to that right quad. And now actively lift your two hip points up. So I want you to try to feel a sense of tucking here across your lumbar spine. Two hands to your hips. Keep your right foot where it is. And then inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky, and then reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Touch the palms, lift your elbows as you bend your arms, hands behind your head to the nape of your neck. Start to reach your fingers towards your feet, and then start to lift your right foot up to meet your fingertips. Natrangajasana without the strap. Continue to kick the right foot up towards the sky. Continue to lift the chest up towards the sky. The toes will meet the hands. Kayleen, go for it. The hands will meet the toes. Create a sense of opening while supporting you. Beautiful work, you guys. Aurora, it looks gorgeous. And then slowly release. Whew. Hands by your side. And then second side, grab a hold of your left leg. And as you hold onto your left leg, try to drop your left knee. Oftentimes it comes forward of the right leg. And then take your right hand to your left hip point. Like you had suspenders, lift your left hip up higher and then try to drop the inner left knee down. So you're just ironing out the front of your left quad. Tailbone towards the floor, drive into that right heel, and then bring two hands to your hips. And then inhale, reach both arms forward and up towards the sky. Keep the inner elbows lifting as you start to bend your hands, arms. Fingers towards the nape of your neck, and then just start to lift your elbows up and kick your left leg up. Reach the toes towards the sky. Beautiful, you guys. Have fun with it. Lift your collarbones, lift your sternum. This is great. Try to lift the toes of the left foot up a lot higher. One more breath. And then slowly release. Shake it out. And then inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. As you inhale, lengthen. Hands fully flat as you step to plank. Pausing in plank position, take your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Swivel your heels over to the right. I want you to stagger your feet side to side, and you're going to keep both hands on the floor. So we're just going to be in plank with the twist of the legs. So to unravel from that asymmetrical back bend, we're just doing a little bit of core support with some twist. And then inhale, lift your feet up, heels up, and swivel over to the other side. Drive that left shoulder onto the back body as you lift up through the left side ribs. Come back to center. We should do it again, over to the right. Lift up through the right waist here. And it's the same work, right hip point, pulling towards the left collarbone. Come back to center, swivel over to the other side. Pull your chest forward. There's no need to look back. I did for years and no answers arrived. Right shoulder on the back body. Come back to center. Did I say good things come in threes? Over to the first side. Push down into your hands, Yajini, I said that. Lift up to the bottom ribs. Pull your hands towards your feet. Open up the chest. Swivel your heels up. Come back to the second side. Last time. Can you send your left hip towards your right hand? Could you anchor your tailbone towards those heels? Come back to center. Shift forward. Lower all the way down to the floor. Beautiful work. Bring your two hands to your bum. Fingers reaching towards your feet, and just iron out the flesh of your butt towards your legs. Lift your shoulders to the sky. Rest your forehead or your chin on the mat, whatever's best for you. And then try to lift your elbows to the sky. Reach your legs so far back they lift. Bend your knees, heels towards the sky. Reach your inner knee so far back. Then lift your chest a lot higher. And then without grabbing your feet, just reach your arms straight back towards the wall, past your feet. Let the arms lift towards your toes. Coil and open, beautiful work. Lift the low belly to support the back body. Press the pubic bone down. Lift the chest a lot higher, you guys. And then slowly lower all the way down. Good. Curl your toes under. And then your choice, either plank or just hands and knees and downward facing dog. Exhale. And then take your feet as wide as the mat. Maybe take it a shorter downward dog. With your right hand, grab a hold of the outside of your left leg. Push your right thigh back a little bit more. Release that hand, and then we'll switch sides. So left hand to your right. Try to stay in downward dog with that right shoulder. And then release that hand down to the floor. Go ahead and rise up onto your toes, jump yourself through, come onto your backs. And then with your knees bent, your feet on the mat, reach your arms up towards the sky. Let's interlace the fingers behind your head. Wrap your elbows towards the ceiling and see if you can't find that same connection from your hip points all the way to your elbow tips. There's this wrapping up action. Feel the weight of your head as you take a big inhale. And then exhale, curl and lift the upper body up off the floor. And then inhale, lower back down. And then again, exhale, curl up. So it's not just head, as it is shoulders, even the upper ribs. And inhale, lower. So you can stay there. We're gonna add on, exhale, curl up. Keep the upper body up. Inhale, extend your legs 45 degrees. Reach through your inner heels. If your feet are lifted, bend your knees, feet to the floor, lift your chest higher. And inhale, lower. Exhale, curl up. Feel the lift of the shoulders. Extend through the inner legs, reach them forward if you'd like. Can you keep your low back flat? Legs to the floor, bending the knees, lift everything. And inhale, lower. We're just gonna do two more, you guys. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, legs reach, tailbone towards the feet. Feet to the mat, lift. Try to lift everything up. And inhale, lower. Last time, exhale, we curl. Beautiful. Inhale, legs extend. Pull tailbone towards those feet. Feet to the mat, lift everything up. And lower all the way down. Good, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock and roll side to side. And then cross your right ankle over your left leg. Let's set up for figure four. If you prefer Gomukhasana legs here, that's fine, crossing at the knees. And feel the weight of the shoulders. And again, the breath across the back of the ribs. And then keep your legs as they are. Place your left foot to the floor. So if your knees were crossed, come back into that thread the needle variation. And then all you're going to do is rotate your right foot to your left hip and let the right foot drop to the floor. Do keep your right knee up towards the sky versus making it a full collapse of the legs. And then some of you might take your left hand and grab a hold of your right foot and pull it closer towards your hip. Rather than pushing the knee away from you, let the knee stack up, but can you feel the weight of your right thigh dropping into the hip socket? Allow the breath to fill across the right side of your chest. And with every exhale, a sense of dropping, a sense of releasing. And then use your exhale, come back to center. Switch sides, so left leg over the right. And as you hug the knee into the chest, if you did on the first side, maybe it's Gomukhasana legs, just feel a sense of stretch to the outer left hip. No efforting, feel free to relax the head, the shoulders, moving towards Shavasana. And those of you that were in Gomukhasana, come back to the figure 4 shape. As you let your right foot drop to the floor, you'll let your left foot roll over to the right. And sometimes you might grab a hold of your left foot and bring it a little closer up towards your side body. Come back to center. As you hug both knees into your chest, slide your hands behind your hamstrings. And then push your feet forward so your knees move over your hips. Keep pushing your leg into your hands and then reach your heels straight up towards the sky. And then try to keep pushing your legs into your hands. So it's not about lifting your sacrum up, but pushing the roots of your thighs deep. And then point your toes right here. And then feel the stretch to the front of your feet. Keep your legs as active, and then can you reach your heels up to flex your feet? And the toes will come down, but it's just because the heels are lifting, the back of your legs are stretching. And then as you're ready, go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Check in and see if there's anything you need before you set yourself up for Shavasana. And as you extend your legs out, let the shoulders drop. Soften the jaw. And then just take one full breath in and let it fill your entire being up with breath. And as you exhale, feel the weight of your heart anchored down into the support of the earth. Simply just being. And honoring the time and space so we can just be. slowly start to deepen your breath. And start to breathe into your fingertips, your toes. And place your hands over your front body and just start to come back to the physical breath. As you feel ready, you'll bend your knees and gently roll yourself over to one side. And take a moment to pause there. Give yourself the time. When you feel ready, you'll press yourself up to a seated position. And as you sit up tall, try to linger here with the eyes closed and just take a moment to feel the effects of the practice. And feel the effects of lingering in the luxury of the time that has been given to us. And then as you gently bring your palms together, honoring ourselves for showing up, honoring the community that we are creating and maintaining, and honoring the practice for always being there as a guiding light to support us through any type of change. May there be peace in our hearts. May there be peace in our homes. And may there be peace in this world. Namaste.